Hey folks, welcome to Maverick Gunworks channel. Today I'm going to talk about the famous Glock 43X. Alrighty, here we go. Really cool little concealed carry piece, 9mm, made in Austria. Alright, as with any firearm, we always make sure, double check, make sure we have an empty chamber, cool, and empty magazine. Alright, in this particular gun, we're looking at 10 round capacity with a standard magazine. Also, you have a spare magazine that comes with it, and your loader, typically your little cleaning brush for your barrel, and also a little stick here that where you can screw your brush into. Right, makes it easy to use. And also with this, you have the slot where you can use your cleaning patches, run them through the slot here, and use that to clean your barrel out and through your slide wherever parts you need to clean out. Also, you got your typical cable lock, and your usual owner's manual and all the pertinent information about the Glock. Okay, well anyways, let's take a look at this rascal here. It's pretty much the same controls as any Glock in that we have a slide release on the side of it here. Push that down and it locks your slide up. Okay. And by the way, if you're loading a gun, any semi-automatic, if you've not seen this before, when you pull the slide back to load the gun, please just let it go. You got a loaded magazine in it, and you have the, okay, let's say that the magazine is locked back. We've loaded our magazine, or slide's locked back rather. We've got a magazine loaded. We put the magazine in. Either push your slide release button down to release it, and if your gun does not have that feature, or if it's difficult to push, pull it back and just let it go. Right, let it slam. It's supposed to slam. You're not going to hurt the gun. Don't be trying to let it down easy, because it's when you do that, it probably will not lock up. If it don't go into battery, it's not going to fire. Okay. So anyway, let's continue with our little 43X here. And this is a little bit longer frame than the original version 43X. You have 10 rounds in this one. Right. Typical Glock sights with a horseshoe-looking shape in the back and a white dot in the front. And let's do our takedown on this one. I prefer myself to grip it with the notch of the frame back here. Just grip it into the web of your hand. Pull back slightly and pull down on the takedown tabs, both sides at one time, and then pull your trigger to release the slide, and it will come out just like that. Nothing to it. One of the easiest guns to actually take apart to clean it of anything. And with our grip in hand, upside down, we're going to push forward on our recoil spring, which is captured, by the way, so you don't have to worry about it flying out when you take it apart. Okay. And pull our barrel out, up and out. And as with any typical firearm, as far as semi-automatic goes, we're going to use a little solvent here to clean out the debris, the carbon on the face of the bolt, on the tracks. Same thing with our barrel. We're going to use a little solvent on the inside of the barrel. And if you've not shot a whole lot between cleanings, it's really much easier to do that. A little solvent, let it set for 5 minutes, and then swab it out. If you go a whole lot of shooting before cleaning it, you're probably going to need your bristle brush to scrub out some of the debris. And you may end up, if you spend a lot of firing, and you've got a copper and lead accumulating in the barrel a lot, you may have to put solvent in it several times and use a more aggressive brass brush to get those cleaned out. All right. And with our framework, as usual, we're going to clean our slide tracks. Squirt down some solvent into the trigger mechanism, into the sear in the trigger. And if you can, blow that out with some compressed air. Will be your best choice probably, without having to take the gun completely apart as far as disassembly goes. We'll get that dried out, and then a couple of little drops of lubricant on the track, and just 1 or 2 drops on your trigger pivot points and your sear pivot points, and you're good to go. Okay. Oh, one thing about the Glock, I might have mentioned this. I know a couple of times I might have mentioned how the sights are on the Glock as far as changing them out. With your front sight, you have a little bitty hex head screw right here that screws into the through the frame itself, and you can get a socket that is designed just for that. And most of the time you can turn them out by hand. Occasionally you may have to use a pair of pliers on it, but make sure it is depressed and it fits flat and solid onto the socket, because it's a really thin screw head on that. So if you don't have a good connection on it, it will have a tendency to roll off and you won't be able to get it loose. But anyway, you can change that front one out fairly easily most of the time. However, with the back one, and with the original sights being plastic, they don't fit in really, really tight, so you can put them in a vise and push it out with a punch. But the new sights, aftermarket sights, typically fit tighter, and I would recommend probably that you use a sight press for that, so you don't hurt the sight or the slide on the gun. Anyway, all right. With that being said, let's drop our barrel back in now that we've cleaned it, got a little lubrication on it. Always put our recoil spring with the plastic tip forward. All right, grip our frame here, or push forward on the spring so that it sinks down into a little recessed cut on the locking lug on your barrel. And then we can slide back onto the tracks, slide it straight back, a little bit of wiggle here, and like that, and it's ready to go again. There you go. Cool little gun. And it's a dog Glock's. Going to be very dependable, very, I want to say, ergonomic as far as for most people's hands. And you got to consider this is a small concealed carry piece. Not the smallest in the world, but it has really good capacity for its size. So anyway, I'll tell you what, before we go, let's do my trigger pull test also. See how that turns out. Okay, here we go with this. Well, stand up there, dude. Alright, go right here. Alrighty. That's about 6 3/4, so not the best in the world, but it'll work. Well, thanks for watching, guys, and if we help you with something out at Maverick Gunworks as far as firearms goes, give us a call.